When having a peaceful home and a peaceful homeschool becomes a distant dream, and it becomes absolutely impossible to get through a day without getting frustrated or yelling, I've learned to pause and ask myself some hard but important and necessary questions. And these are in no particular order, but to start us off, how has my nutrition been lately? I'm not saying you have to overhaul your diet or anything dramatic, but there are some days I look back and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've just been surviving off coffee, leftover chicken nuggets, and food from their snack basket. And I have to think, okay, how can I get some protein back in my breakfast? How can I get some veggies added into my day so that I can be my best for my kids? The next question, and one of the most important, how has my spiritual life been lately? And I'm not saying you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to pray for an hour, but are you getting that intimate time with Jesus in somehow, somewhere during your day, or are you just trying to push through on your own? I know I have. And those days usually don't turn out as well. I desire to be in the flow with Holy Spirit. Being in this boat that is gently floating downstream, in the flow, you're in a restful, peaceful state, versus someone in a boat trying to work their hardest to paddle upstream against the flow. The other thing that I would say that hits hard for me with this question is, how am I doing with my thought life? Because it is really easy to let negative thoughts in and let those thoughts take root. And if that resonates with you, I would definitely check out Dr. Carolyn Leaf and her work, because she does an awesome job of weaving together scriptural truths of taking every thought captive, along with the neuroscience side of things and the neuroplasticity and the science of our brain and how thoughts work, and cutting out those negative thoughts and helping those good, healthy thoughts grow. Next thing I ask myself is, have I really been connecting with my kids? Or have they just been another task that I have to do throughout my day? And if you're looking to increase the connection with your kids, one of the first habits I would work on, eye contact. How many times are we talking to our kids while we're doing this? Yeah, no, I hear, yeah, yeah, you can go do that, that's fine. And if it's not scrolling through our phone, we're either focused somewhere else, even if that's home tasks. How many times are you looking your child in the eye and connecting in that way when they're talking to you? Or are you just doing a lot of side talk? I know I do a lot of side talk, and I'm telling you, at some point during the day, looking them in the eye on their level and saying just something encouraging, like, I love you, I am so happy that I get to be your mom, or I really loved building Legos with you today. That was a lot of fun. And here's a little side quest bonus: get off the phone. And I'm talking to myself here. I can see myself in the camera talking to myself because I struggle in this area just as much as anybody. But I'm telling you, there is a stark difference in the days that I am on my phone versus days where I just kind of tuck it away and forget about it. I encourage you, if you're struggling with the phone, to get a piece of paper and pen, and for a week or two, log when your first pickup was, how many pickups you had throughout the day, and how many minutes you were on your phone, especially social media. If you know me, you probably don't know, unless you really know me, that I am very competitive. So this really helped me in the sense of, you know, say I logged down, okay, my first pickup today was 7:30. Let's see tomorrow how much later it can be before my first phone pickup. Or I'd be like, okay, I'd look at my log and I'd be like, okay, I was on my phone for an hour and 15 minutes today. Let's see how much less we can do the next day. So it made it a fun competition type game. That really helped me with the phone situation. Next thing I ask, have I been active? Have I been getting movement? Again, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. and going on the treadmill for an hour. I wouldn't recommend that. But looking at my activity, have I been lifting heavy weights even a couple times a week? Have I been going on a walk? Have I been stretching? Or have I been mostly sedentary and neglecting active movement? How is my sleep been? This isn't always in our control, especially with little kids, but I try and do my best to make sure I'm getting good quality sleep so that I'm not as irritable the next day. I try to have a cutoff time for devices about 30 minutes before bedtime. And sorry, ladies, alcohol does not do anything for your health or your sleep. It has a huge negative impact on your sleep. And I noticed when I cut out alcohol, or at least limited it, my sleep quality improved, and the way I felt in the morning was much better, and was able to be more present with my kids and less grouchy. How has my marriage been? I know this might be a touchy one, but am I connecting with my spouse emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, sexually, or are we just coexisting? I also look at, what habits, what rhythms either need to be reestablished or readjusted. Are there habits that were working that we just kind of got out of the habit of doing that we need to start doing again? Or are there habit systems that we're doing that's just not quite working that we either need to let go completely or tweak a little bit so things can run a little bit more smoothly? And I'm not saying you have to have a picture perfect home all the time. We definitely don't. But I have found that an overwhelmed home that doesn't have any systems to keep things going smoothly leads to an overwhelmed mind, spirit, and an overwhelmed, frustrated mom that does not do any good for her kids. Have we gotten any outside time? No matter the weather, we at least try to get outside a little bit during the day. Now we're in fall, and in Western North Carolina, the weather has been absolutely beautiful. So we have been outside a ton, and there's definitely a difference in the days where we get outside a lot versus days if we haven't been getting outside as much. So every single day, no matter the weather, unless it's truly, truly awful weather, we try to get outside at least for a little bit every day. And sometimes we just need that reset. There's been times where it's just been a horrendous, very unpleasant morning for everybody. And I'm like, okay, kids, I think we just need to reset. And they'll be like, yeah, mom, let's reset. We'll grab a snack, grab a book, go outside, read, play, and just reset the day. Have we been getting together with friends? We try to get together with friends at least once or twice a week, but that doesn't always happen. And so if it's been a while, we try and be intentional on making sure that happens. Community is so important and can be so life-giving. It can really change your day around when we're able to go out. The kids can play with their friends. I can hang out and talk and fellowship with my friends. And like I said, it is just so life-giving having that community and fellowshipping with friends. And have I been neglecting hobbies or things that are life-giving? So whatever that looks like for you, what brings you joy? Are you doing those things, making time for those things, making those things a priority? And if not, why not? How can you make little shifts and changes so you can make your hobbies and things that you love and giftings that God has given you more of a priority so you can be partaking in those life-giving activities? So I hope this was helpful. Let me know which one of these was the most helpful, or which one resonates for you, or which things you struggle with. If it wasn't addressed on this list, this is no way an exhaustive list. These are just the top things that came up to my mind. And I am not saying that you have to overhaul everything and fix everything in all of these categories. We are not about perfection, but how can we take one thing and just make it 1% better so we can get closer to being that peaceful, joyful mom that we desire to be?